Press the button.
I've
Welcome,
pressed it.
everyone. And we got audio this time. Is it all working, Speed?
I shouldn't be overly loud. If I am, I do apologize. Weeks I have tried to fix it,
Anyway,
and I don't know why
welcome
it
everybody
is.
to another episode of SideNote. This one, the next page, number 5. Interesting show this week. Lots happened in the last 2 weeks. Firstly and foremostly, we want to send our regards to anybody that has been affected by Hurricane Ian. It's been quite devastating from all reports that we've heard. So we do send our thoughts and prayers to you guys. Hopefully you recover quickly and can get back on your feet fast.
Not good over there.
No, it's not. It's not. So before we get into the show, just briefly, all opinions are shared by us. They're not paid for. They're nothing like that. These are our own expressed opinions. I know it's been a little bit of a hot topic. Everyone seems to think that we're like a little bit more, paid direction. No, we are
influenced in a way.
No.
Absolutely. Like ever since day one of doing this, our opinions have always been our own. Yes, some of them may be of a controversial nature, but that's the whole point, really. So, but I guess we'll kick things off. Not with controversy, but we've had the NVIDIA has announced their new RTX 4000 series. Which yes. Boy, they are some.
You say
chunky...
we're not going to launch a controversy.
I mean, it's compared to everything else, it's not really a controversy. All right, so they've launched their 4000 series, and wow, there's some big boys. I think the Founders Edition of the 4000 series is a 3.5 slot card.
Yeah.
And there are some AIBs that are going upwards of like 5 slots from rumors that are floating around.
At this stage, all I'm going to do is just get an extender.
That's huge.
I'm just going to get an extender, run it out of my computer, and just mount the 40 series to the wall. Like, fuck it, I'm done. Yeah. I'm not even going to bother. Just cut a hole in the wall and just slide it in, and just plug the cords into the front of the wall. Wow,
Jesus!
I saw that reflection.
Oh, my eyes! Oh.
40 series, big card. That's for sure.
But yeah, but it was funny when it was announced. Jensen was holding up the 4090, and you could see the strain he had just trying to hold it out. No, it's just a Founders Edition.
It's a big card,
and it's expensive. Holy crap! It's an expensive card. Like, but they're being very sort of flip-floppy about how they're presenting the card. Because, they're saying like, oh, it's like a 2 to 4 times performance boost, but that's only certain scenarios with certain games. Like, it's not
2 to 4 times what though? What's the comparison to?
Over the 3090 Ti. I mean, what would you compare to that? For starters, but anyway,
personally, I'm not seeing much of an advantage to it, to be honest.
No, if you really look into it, look, the only thing that's going to better the RT cores, which are 3rd generation, and I believe from what I've heard, it has dual NVENC encoders, which big step ahead. I mean, I could see some really interesting stuff for that. Because you want to be able to,
dual encoders.
One is enough. I'm proving that solely right now.
Yeah.
On a very old card, one is enough. So unless you're like, I guess streaming and recording very high content, like 4K content, and you'd want an
Maybe.
encoder just for 4K and another
Recording, yeah.
encoder just recording 4K, maybe.
Yeah, it could be
Um,
could be a purpose.
yeah, AV1 video encoding from memory. Like man, that stuff gets me wet, to say the least.
Oh, wow, thanks. You mean
But
moist.
no, people don't like moist. You can't say the word
Oh,
moist.
sorry, my bad. Move on.
But the biggest thing to come out of it is the power draw. And it
Yeah.
is exactly what we predicted it would be. It is just a monster card. And
Mm.
there's reported problems of the PCI Express connector if you're using an
Oh,
ATX 2.0 power supply,
right.
where the cable, because of how the ATX 2.0 power supply is designed, it will actually draw
Yeah.
more power through one cable than it's supposed to. So
Right.
you'll actually see like either the card fry or the PSU fry, or just the cable will just
Awesome.
because there's
Great.
because it's drawing more power than what it should. Because the new ATX 3.0 power supplies, the connectors have a little
Regulated.
have like a little connector above the main connector, which sort of
Yeah, it's memory
sends
cable,
data
like a data
between.
cable.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it can regulate itself.
Yeah, it's
So
basically a regulated cable, yeah.
yeah, so if you're gonna get an RTX 4000 series card, get a new power supply for the love of God. And
Yeah,
they
right. Clearly.
and they're talking like you need at least 1,000 watt power supply too.
Yeah, I think you're
I
gonna need bigger than
to
that.
be safe. So that
I mean, I think you're gonna be
there's
looking
that.
more 1500 watts, to be fair.
The other sad news in the world, even though we thought it was already dead, Google Stadia is shutting its doors.
What? It's still alive?
It's still alive. So as of January 18,
Oh,
Google will be refunding all Stadia hardware purchased through the Google Store, as well as all games and add-on content purchased from the Stadia Store. It's
refunding.
done. It's dusted. Yeah, they are refunding everything, and there are people
Wow.
who are pissed. Uh, there's someone who I can't remember what game they were playing, but they've invested like a ridiculous amount of hours in that game, and I think it was Red Dead 2, uh, and they're pleading uh, to have their
Was it
character
like
being moved over to a different platform.
5,000 hours or something, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think I
like
read
a
it somewhere.
ridiculous amount of time
Yeah,
spent in that game.
stupid amount of time,
I
yeah.
mean, I'd
Just
be
to have it all
pissed
thrown
too.
away.
Yeah. I'd be.
I mean,
It'd be like if. No, you're right.
did they really think it was going to last though? Like, did they really think Stadia was going to be
Nah,
a
I mean,
future? Like, come on, be real.
as soon as it launched, it was a dead platform. Like it was slower than the Xbox Cloud. It cost more. Like
Yeah,
game, like whatever they were charging was just way too much, and you could only play it. You actually had to buy the Stadia
the,
controller in order to
the controller,
use
yeah,
any
to
of it.
play it, yeah.
So it was never going to stay afloat whatsoever.
No,
Uh,
it was always destined for. I mean, it was a
yeah,
great concept,
yeah.
but just
But
execution was
I
never
mean,
going to be there.
I thought it was already dead. I didn't think many people were using it at all anyway. So,
I guess that kind of puts a bit of
surprise,
a shadow
surprise.
though. Like, I mean, you got the Stadia. Like, you've now got Steam Deck. Like, it's a market that's there but not there at this stage. Like, is it too ambitious to try and look at those sort of markets and try and manipulate that right now? Like,
I think.
we know, like, Nintendo have got the Switch, so you
Mm,
you're kind of challenging the Switch unless you can give it something different. Like, is
but I
there
think
really a purpose to that market right now?
they had the right idea. But the problem was that devs were having trouble getting their games onto the Stadia
onto
store.
it.
So
Yeah. That was something I was reading
there
as
was
well. Yeah,
that major
always hard
hurdle.
to
Like
get
it was
onto.
just an absolute pain in the ass.
Yeah,
So and like you had, I mean, what the Xbox Cloud Gaming was in its infancy then. I think it was like early beta.
yeah, very
So
very early
and
beta.
even
Yeah,
then, in an early beta, it was still better than Stadia was. And like
and
you
I
look
think
at it now, like
the cloud was marketed better too. Like it
oh,
was.
absolutely. But
It, it
but
wasn't
you
like a
didn't have to
standalone thing. It
do
was like, hey, and bundle it in here,
yeah.
so you can kind of play with it and help us build it. So I think it was a thing at that point. Yeah.
But anyone who had a game on Xbox didn't have to do anything. Like didn't have to jump through hoops or
No,
you know
that's right.
any bullshit stuff. It was around the Xbox hardware. It
Yeah,
was just
exactly. Yeah,
do you want it on the cloud? Well,
yeah.
essentially, will Xbox allow you to have it on the cloud? Because I mean, they're
And like
paying
the
for
other
the
thing,
infrastructure, really.
and the other thing, I guess, in that instance, is you've got the Xbox controller. Like if you've got a console, you've generally got the controller. It's not hard to Bluetooth it to your phone or whatever. It's
Yeah,
that sort of connection was a lot more,
Hmm.
I guess, market friendly rather than actually having to go out and buy a whole new piece and then
yeah.
all that. So I
But I
think
mean, like,
Stadia was a good system, but just maybe marketed in the wrong
yeah.
window.
I mean, way more people have access to an Xbox controller than they do any other controller. I mean, most PC players will have an Xbox
A
controller
Windows.
there,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because it just works. I mean, that's just how easy it is. But I mean, so sad, too bad. Really, I'm sure we'll all live without it. uh, but if you want a replacement, Xbox Cloud Gaming it's actually quite good. So
It's come a long way for sure.
yeah, but I believe that is it for the random nonsense, and
Uh,
that's it. Okay, so unless you've got something
are you
else that you
sure?
wish to add,
Are you sure?
I don't look. I
I
don't know.
mean,
There's so much Twitch stuff in my feed right
honestly, like
now.
we know Tencent's got their finger in pretty much everything,
Oh, was
but
that the
now
one
they're
I
trying to
posted
take a
today?
more aggressive. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
that
now
was, yeah.
taking a more aggressive approach to trying to get a hands on a lot of the international stuff. Obviously, with what's going on within their own market, they feel there's obviously a need to try and branch out to international market to keep the business afloat. So I'm guessing, I don't know. I'm not sure that Tencent's probably in a position to do so.
Um, yeah.
But yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
like, I don't know. Tencent, I think, need to just focus on
The,
a good structure and work with it.
yeah, so they're looking at a new strategy that will focus on buying majority stakes mainly in overseas gaming companies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, they're trying to make money, which is, I mean, that's Tencent, isn't it? They're always trying to make money in some roundabout way. Because Tencent own Trovo, right?
Well, that's still up in the air. It's
Or they have a
rumored
big
to be that
stake in
way.
Trovo.
I think they had a big stake. They did put the 30 mil up for Trevor at the start. Um, I'm not sure where that leads to at this point, and
Yeah,
I'm not sure whether that's still a current uh, like evaluatory agreement where they just keep assessing it
yeah.
and reevaluating it, because it didn't show up in the Tencent portfolio after the first 2.5 months. So I don't know
So,
whether it's shifted, it's shit away, or whether it was just uh, a general, like, here's a one-off type thing. So I'm not sure whether they own it or whether
yeah.
they're just a big
So
party in it.
Games wise, Tencent has stakes in Epic Games, Activision Blizzard. Well, that's going to be interesting, isn't it?
Well, they own Riot.
From Software, whatever the PUBG publisher is, Crafton. Yeah, also owns 100% of Riot Games, Sumo Digital, and Digital
Yeah.
Extremes. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's getting pretty hot. It's
Oh yeah, that's a
concerning
hot
though as
topic.
well.
You see, they've been very quiet for the past what 12 to 18 months. They've been very
Yeah.
quiet in the market. They're sort of sliding under the radar. But now the current structure of the like the time limited space that the Chinese government's enforcing on youth and all that kind of stuff, and how they're changing the parameters over there. I think
Yeah.
it was a matter of time before. I mean, Tencent said they started doing this beforehand, but come on. I mean, we covered this 6 months ago, and they were still very quiet then.
Yeah, it almost sounds like desperation, doesn't it? Seems to be like
It
the
does
key
feel like that
thing this
way.
year, doesn't it? The key thing this year
Look,
is desperation.
what strikes me the most with that Tencent changing their marketing strategy, or their majority stakeholder strategy, is the Activision Blizzard thing. That because they've got majority stakes in that. I think they're like 37 or 38%. I think
Yeah.
in Activision Blizzard. So I wonder how that will translate with the acquisition from Microsoft. So
I
it
mean,
just poses a big question there.
when that goes through, and it will, like for those that are doubters saying that it's not going to happen, it's absolutely going to happen. When that goes through, yeah, 10-cent shares are going to spike a little bit off that.
Well, that's you see, and that again poses the question: is when did Tencent come into Activision Blizzard? Was this another Bobby Kotick doing an insider deal?
One of those sneaky under the table sort of, yeah. I get you. Yeah,
that's
maybe.
what I'm sort of thinking, because it would spike Tencent up in market value a lot.
Yeah, no, that'd be interesting. But on the Activision Blizzard thing, Sony CEO Jim Ryan did end up going to the EU to apparently try and convince the regulators to not allow, the buyout.
I'm sorry, but this Sony exec needs to shut his mouth and step down, because what he's saying is exactly what his company has structured for the last 10 years.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but don't be throwing
I agree.
Rocks in a glass house, Mr. Jim Ryan. If I was you, pipe down and actually try and be a genuine businessman and work with the company, rather than trying to slander it and target it for your own benefit.
It is quite funny, isn't it? Sony has all of these, exclusive, like super exclusive deals, with game devs and all that. And, Rockstar, for example. I mean, they've got, proprietary access to everything Rockstar. So anything that Rockstar produces, PlayStation has, like, the first hand in it.
Even more recently, the Modern Warfare 2 beta, right?
Yeah.
The first weekend that it was in early access was for PlayStation only. Yeah. And then the next weekend it went to open beta. It's like, what are you worried about? The fact that Xbox will say, hey, here's an open beta for 2 weeks for everybody. What, you're not going to get your individual, like, oh, we got to cater to our little PlayStation fans so they can have their own space because they can't play nicely with everybody else? Come on, Jim.
Yeah.
The industry's grown, mate. The industry's changed. Get with the times. Understand that you can't have that. It's not going to be a thing.
It's funny that they're jumping up and down and being like, oh, Xbox can't have exclusive right to our Call of Duty franchise, blah, blah, blah. But they're the ones who've had exclusive content and exclusive rights to games for so long. Like, they're just being hypocritical at this stage. Like, they're the worst ones at it. How many times has a
Yeah.
game come out and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, free on PlayStation, at launch, but everyone
Yeah.
else
Yeah.
has to
Yeah.
pay for it?
Yeah.
Come on.
They
I,
didn't miss much, man, Jax.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's
I think
absolutely ridiculous.
I'm starting to put Jim Ryan in the same boat as Bobby Kotick, and as far as that boat just sails off into the distance and doesn't come back, I'm quite happy with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
I'm
pretty much.
sorry, but yeah, it's a shocking thing. But all right,
Now onto the
the
juicy
moment
stuff.
we've kind of been dreading.
Yeah.
This
Where's your
this is
pen?
probably going
We'll
to turn
start
into a
from
bit
the
of a shit
beginning, I
show at this
guess.
point, but it's not a Slenderfest. It's just highlighting that there is a lot of issues going on. Obviously we touched on Google with the Stadia. They're scrapping all that by January. Yeah, you're going to get refunded if you bought all that.
Yes.
What's coming? I mean, you've got to ask, what is the benefit to that?
Yeah.
There's something behind the scenes going on. And I don't think we're too far from actually seeing it. I think we're probably going to see
Yeah. There is.
I think we're going to see a big fall this year. I think something's going to break this year, and it's going to be.
There's going to be a
Pretty brutal,
bombshell.
but
There's
oh,
going
yeah.
to be a bombshell. It's going to knock everyone around. Like anyone who doesn't realize what's happening right now, oh boy, you're in for a show. Because
some of the things that we've uncovered this last 2 weeks,
I have never
I don't know.
I've never seen a platform or a business, for that matter, pump out so many features so quickly.
Was it 5,
Like,
6?
It's about six.
6 in
2
like
weeks.
8 days or something.
Yeah.
Just stupid.
That's madness. Like the last time we saw this sort of behavior was with Mixer. Where is that desperation move prior to the shutdown, where they're pumping out all these features. Everyone can do this now, and you can do this and that. And they were just sort of trying to please everyone. And then out of nowhere, oh, congrats, you've got 30 days, move out.
Yeah, it was the rug over the fire, wasn't it? Ultimately.
Yeah. So
first off, I mean, let's cover off the gambling thing for starters.
Yes.
Because that's been the hottest topic in the last week and a half. So there's been a big call on the gambling side on Twitch. Now, look, I get it. It's a thing. It's there. But Twitch basically come out with one of those useless fucking statements. Oh, we're going to stop it if it's not a US registered site. If it's online, it's registered in the US. Like, it has to be. You can't use them otherwise. So what's the point? Yeah.
I mean, there's even been some.
It was kind of one of these useless things, wasn't it?
I mean, it's a tough one because, gambling should be age restricted. Even viewing it. I don't know. It's a really weird area.
So my question being, okay, so I don't disagree. I really don't. I do agree with it's got to be an age restriction because you can't walk into a casino at 9 years old.
No.
You can if you're with your parents, but again, it's not something that mum and dad are going to drag you to on a weekly basis. I mean,
yeah.
How is it possible for it's all right for a business, it's all right for a casino or a club because they can visualize ID, they can see ID. How would, say, a platform, aka a Trovo, a Glimish, a Twitch, a YouTube, how could they seriously lock up an age restriction?
I mean, we've spoken about
doing
this.
The photo verification.
Yeah, we've spoken about this, and unless you're going to the links of an 18 plus card or a driver's license or a passport, unless you're willing to go to those extents,
but most countries you can get a learner's permit at 16 years old.
but it does
which
have
is
your
a
date of
photo
birth on it.
ID.
So
Right, but again, like it's a problem that is going to be foreseen. But again, you could get mum and dad's credit card, scan it, and upload it. It doesn't
yeah,
prove anything. So again,
yeah.
the problem lies.
I mean,
Yes, it should be age restricted, but how do you age restrict it to be the fact
yeah.
that that's over there? That's in a separate.
Mm.
So rather than having games and art and music, then you've got 18 plus only. Like how do you physically have that?
I mean, unfortunately, in the online world, it sort of all comes down to trust, doesn't it? You have. I
Well,
mean, that's. I mean,
exactly,
it's
yeah.
the same as if you went on to a porn website. You know,
Mhm.
it has that pop up. Are you over 18?
Yeah, you just
Like,
click yes, and it doesn't matter. Yeah,
yes,
you just skip
yeah.
the window. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're totally in.
So
So, I mean, that's
that,
all it comes down to. That's the only thing you can do is just trust people.
but then that pays that question is you can't age restrict it. So how else do you get around it?
Well, the only other option is you don't allow it. Realistically,
But
if
then
you can't
that
if you can't
then
stop people from watching it, then you can't allow it.
that then strikes the other question is what else falls under that category of 18 plus that shouldn't be allowed on the platform? You
Yes.
know, so that just opens up a bigger can of worms.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that Twitch has foreseen this in their business model when they were trying to do things.
Yeah. Like, I don't have a problem with gambling, right? Gambling
Hmm.
streams, I kind of have a problem with because it breeds this, just you can spend a ridiculous amount of money and eventually you'll win
Yeah.
sort of mentality. Uh, but a lot of people don't know that whoever's doing these streams, 9 times out of 10, they're not using their money. They're being
No.
sponsored by the site that they're
Yeah, that's
using,
right. Yeah.
and they've been given play money. Like, and they'll just
Right.
keep handing money over just because it's entertainment.
But I mean, but then you get the whole thing of like, oh, well, if I give you $100, can you turn it into 1,000 for me?
No.
So someone donates $100
No.
on the stream, so then he takes $100 and and oh
Hmm.
look, I lost you $100. Sorry.
Yeah.
So
Like,
again, it kind of breeds that sort of. I think that's more the point that they're trying to get to is, would there be a way to stop the viewer interaction so much with the gambling stream in that connection of, say, you can't donate or you can't sub during those stream times. So if it's a gambling stream, all subs and monetization is turned off for that particular,
yeah.
you know,
I mean, that would maybe help deter people, perhaps. But I don't think
if
you
they take
can.
it off platform though, like if they went to say a Patreon or a PayPal or something like that, well then that's not then on the platform, is it? Because that's happened off the platform. You know what I mean? Like,
I think if it was an independent venture, then yeah, I could see that sort of being a thing. But when you're on such a large platform, I just I there's so many like there's so many problems with it. I mean, I even saw in the Glimmerish Discord, someone was complaining about um the fucking what's on here the Super Smash Brothers betting thing.
oh, the
Uh,
smash bets.
yeah, saying that Smash Bets, that was it. Saying
Yeah,
that
yeah,
that was
yeah.
gambling and why is that allowed on the platform? I mean, well, first off, it's not money.
No, it's channel
It's
points, which is
it's points. So
yeah.
I mean, but I mean, it's not like slot machines or card games or roulette, or it's not like
But you see,
high stakes
that's the funny
gambling.
thing. That's but again, it still comes under the gambling tag because
I know.
you're giving a thing. So that's what Memory League's saying is it promotes a bigger umbrella for
Yeah.
um the whole
I don't.
general consensus of what is gambling.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. So
I'll drop this link
Twitch,
in chat anyway.
yeah. So Twitch has obviously released a statement about it, saying
There is
that they,
I'll
yeah,
just drop that link.
that they will be banning gambling streams.
Only
Kind
if
of.
they're not US registered.
Kind of. Okay. So they've stated, we will be making a policy update on October 18th to prohibit streaming of gambling sites that include slots, roulette, or dice games that aren't licensed either in the US or other jurisdictions that provide sufficient consumer protection.
Right.
These sites will include stake.com, rollbit.com, jewelbits.com, and rudebet.com.
Let me override that entire statement that they made, because Digital Fracture, our very own Digital Fracture, works in a casino. Everything online must be registered within the US.
Everything.
Like, it must get US classification before it gets on the web. So
Like
that statement
online
of them stopping it is completely obnoxious. It's not even right.
I have dabbled in the online casinos, and they are extraordinarily strict.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they cover their
Absolutely.
asses to the nth degree. It is
Yep.
wild the extent they go to, because they need to. It doesn't matter where you are in the world; they have to do it. But I mean, that's what the websites that they've blocked are sports betting sites.
Right, exactly.
They're not
anything more.
they're not online casinos. They're
No.
sports betting sites. So
It doesn't make any sense. That whole statement is just oh, look, we're doing something that's got nothing to do with what you want.
It's the
We're doing
classic Twitch
something,
knee jerk, isn't it?
and look at what happened. Immediately within 2 hours, you had sponsors, you had brands like Rogue Energy going, "Oh, Twitch is changing their gambling." No, they're not. Stop and read the fucking. It's not.
Yeah.
Read the documentation. Like, you've got all these people go, "Oh, Twitch, they're doing something." No, they're not.
No. The Twitch
Please read before you make comment.
I mean, yes, Twitch are doing things, but they're not doing the things
Anything.
that they need to do.
Yeah, people can't read Benjex. The problem is it's brands. Like I said, Rogue Energy, one of the first ones I saw, it says Twitch changes on gambling. No, it's not. Like, read the documentation, please. You're a business. You should be able to see through this bullshit that's there.
Yeah. All they've done is alter the policy so it covers their ass.
What do we think of your
That's
idea?
all that
Something like you have to click verify on it. You can't, Benjax, because
anyone could do that.
I mean, let me go and put up Pornhub on my son's phone and let him hit the button. It doesn't mean that he's 18. There's no way to verify.
Yeah.
You can't verify anything. There's no way to do it. Like,
yeah, there is literally no way to stop
photo
anyone
identification to prove that you're older. Yeah.
Yeah, it's What year were you born? Yeah, 1910.
1900.
Yeah. They'll just scroll to the bottom of the list a bit. That date. Yes, I'm that old. Clearly over the age of 18. But like, that's the biggest problem, and I think that's a problem that Flemish is going to face one day. You know, how do you stop that from happening? You know, they're being very being very lenient at the moment. They're like, well, you can gamble as long as it's legal in your country.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is fine, but you're gonna end up with the same problem somewhere down the line. So, do you A, continue on and do whatever it is that you're doing, or B, just be like, no gambling?
But again, that's an umbrella that you can't just close. Like, I'm
No.
sorry, I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
but,
I'm
like,
going
all
to
right,
say
so-
no, that can't work
and-
because gambling isn't just. No, you can't
I
be
know.
Dex because, like, gambling itself, in a nutshell, isn't just I put $5 in a slot machine and I didn't win. I've got to do it again. That's not just gambling. Gambling is more than that.
Mm.
You know, it's opening loot boxes, things like that. That's still gambling, but you can't just cut it down entirely.
Even your bots that some people have in their channels where you can play like roulette and
Yep.
that. I mean, Banjax, prime example. Sorry, everything that you do that is technically
It's
gambling. So
yeah, exactly. So that
I
that
you know,
makes
where
that
do you draw the
hard.
line? Does it have if it's non-monetary based? Is that okay? Is it if it's monetary based? Does that get banned?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Everything's a gamble.
I think
to be gambling.
I think if it's monetary based, I think that's the main hard hitting area.
I think what the point would be online casino streams need to not be a point.
Yeah.
That would be a bit more decisive down that direction. Like,
yeah, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, I get where you're going at now.
So you can't stream your online casino gaming. Okay,
yeah.
That way, if you're doing, like the gacha cards and you're popping open capsules and getting weird things out of it, whatever, that's different in that aspect. But I think online casino streams in general, I think that's where the biggest problem lies, and that's everyone just throwing the gambling blanket over that, but it's more than that. You know.
No, I'll agree with that.
You've got to take a clear cut on that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'll agree. Like, because.
But it's on an online casino memory. So if you target purely just the online casino style stream, so your slots, your roulette, all that kind of stuff, if you target that specifically and you remove that, I think that's a different, like a much better issue.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah. These people who are on the online casinos are being sponsored by those casinos. If they're streaming it, they're being sponsored. Right. So they're not even using their own money. So they can spend thousands and thousands of dollars. That's fine. I mean, they don't care, and you can see it. They don't care. They will just spend whatever it is and just hope for a win. And when it's a win, everyone's like, "Yay, you won!" But it's promoting the wrong mentality.
In the end, that money goes back to the platform anyway, like the casino, so it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, and any winnings to a certain amount, I think, go back to the platform that is actually sponsoring them, and they get like a small cut of
they
the
get
winnings.
A minimal cut out of it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I agree. Online casinos, no-go zone. Just
no, I just think I see what you're saying there, Memory. Like, I do see what you're saying there, but I think it's just got to be a complete termination. It's a no-go zone. Like, there's just nothing.
I mean, you could host I mean, you could host a poker tournament at home. That would be fine.
Yeah, because you know, again, you're not. Like, you're not yes, that's more of a fun thing. Like, if you got, say, 5 mates, you're all sitting around, you just, you're not buying in as such, like you're not putting cash on the table, but everyone starts with, say, $100 in chips or whatever, and you're playing. That's fine. You're not on the.
I think, I think if it's,
it's generally online.
Online casinos and any sort of monetary based gambling. I think that's a safe direct. Anyway, we could talk about fucking gambling all day. Let's move on, shall we? Because there's a lot to cover today.
That points in the next direction. Because I want to target right off the back of that. I want to target the whole new elevated and super chats.
I mean, look,
I knew that result was coming.
I don't.
Because is that not?
I don't like it.
Is that not gambling enough? I can't stand it. I mean, the whole fucking the whole way Twitch is doing it, it just turns my stomach.
Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, right, Twitch is currently testing elevated messages, which allow you to. They're like YouTube super chats, where you can donate, X amount of money with a message, and that message gets pinned
To the top.
to the top of the chat. And depending on how much you pay, will determine how long that message stays there for.
Twitch is elevated to the top of the chat.
Yeah. So I believe it does. Okay. So on YouTube, it highlights it, but it keeps a marker at the top, and it'll keep markers at the top, so you could click through them all if you wanted to click through them. YouTube super chats, for example, you pay $5, right? You get your message pinned for 2 minutes, right? On Twitch, $5, 30 seconds.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 30
Immediately,
seconds.
There's a problem. That's not even going deeper down the list. Immediately, there's a bigger problem, right? If we jump up to $100, right? Say YouTube, you donated $100 for a super chat. Your message gets pinned for an entire hour. Pretty fair, I think. I mean, you're paying $100. That's not bad.
Twitch is got to be at least an hour and a half, right?
Yeah, 2.5 minutes. So,
pardon? Say that
$100.
2.5 minutes.
I could find other ways you could earn $100 in 2.5 minutes, but
what?
That's
2.5
bad.
minutes.
That's bad. Because naturally people are going to spend more to have their message there for longer, but it's not even a long time. It's a short amount of time.
But okay, so I shared a picture in the planning section of how that can be abused as well.
Yes.
Did you catch that image?
I think I did. Yes.
It's in there.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. Okay.
So again, I don't like it. I don't like the feature. I don't like anything about it. I don't like the monetization part of it. I don't like anything to do with it, purely based on the fact that someone or a group of people could come in and literally target the streamer with a message up the top of their chat that points at the streamer with an arrow and has some stupid comment on it. I'm sorry, but that's no. Twitch is trying to get rid of hate raids and stuff, and they're just making this a feature to.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's going to make things way worse.
Yep.
And naturally, what the streamer gets after that. So, say $10 was donated for 1 minute.
It's a timer, Mytho.
Yeah, no, it's all timed.
Yep.
So say you pay $10 for a 1 minute message. The streamer will get 70% of that after fees. After fees. We don't know what the fees are. I mean, considering the fees that you got on your payout, which was just simply fucking ridiculous. I can only imagine what fees that they would attach to that, so you get the least amount of money possible.
That's right. Yeah, Banjack, I know what you're saying, but the image that we've got from what we saw was it sticking at the top of the chat as well, and it was a bit of a derogatory attack at the streamer, so it can be rather detrimental.
I mean, yeah, because all you've got to do is have someone spam spam $10 every minute and just put bullshit messages there. I mean, you get
It can be an
obviously you
attack
get the
on
same thing
streamer.
on YouTube, but I think there's more moderation on YouTube in that regards.
I'll grab this image.
But I mean, question: how can that be moderated? Does that go through moderators first, like your channel moderators, so they can look at the message, think,
Well, that's
nah,
exactly
that's not going
right.
to
Yeah.
happen. We're going to hide that one,
Yep.
or are they all just accepted?
And what bothers me is like, if we look at what Atar's saying there, is so the streamer never really sees it. Well, hang on, it's my fucking channel. Anyone's posting anything on my channel, I want to see it.
Yeah.
Because it's my channel. I'm the one who could get banned because of shit going on my channel.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, but again, that's a very like one-off case there, but it could be very, very, very detrimental to a streamer in general, the way that works.
Like,
along with the
why?
revenue already now breaking down, that after up to 100K, they'll get, some of the guys get 70-30 and then it drops to 50-50.
Yeah. Oh, there's that. I mean, that happened as well. Everyone's up. Everyone's all up in arms because, oh no, partnered streamers who were getting 70-30, some, will now be getting 50-50 along with everyone else.
Only after $100,000.
Yes. So you could get up to $100,000 70-30 split. Then after that, 50-50 split. But just to reiterate, that's after fees.
Yeah.
Twitch can charge whatever fees they feel like.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care.
But the dumb thing is, so people are blowing up about this 70-30 thing, right? Ain't no one bitching about the whitelist and non-ban list.
Oh no, that's in the past. No, we're all about money now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Don't worry about that.
What gambling streams? Oh, well, that was like last year, surely. Yeah. No, we're all about the split now. Right. Yeah. What hot tub now? I don't. What? What are you talking about?
Exactly. It's it's all like, oh, some of these people are getting 70-30. I'm only getting 50-50. Well, yeah. I mean, you're not a partner. You haven't negotiated a contract.
This is the problem. Like, people are so fixated on Twitch is the place to be, or Twitch is the only place I can be for my content.
Yeah.
Get out of that headspace. There are so many other platforms that you could go to.
Yeah.
That will treat you 1,000 times better. Not Trovo. Sorry. Do not go to Trovo. Trovo is not an option. If you're on Twitch and you go to Trovo, Trovo is a clone of Twitch. Just they know how to take more of your money. That's it.
Yeah, without you noticing it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
yeah, right. But the biggest issue with that is, like, I'm seeing now, like, we're seeing these cuts. Like, so they're taking revenue back. They're putting in these dumb features like, $100 for 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, but I don't.
We've seen this before.
That's not even. Before. I would love to say that that's the dumbest feature they've come out with over the last 2 weeks, but it really isn't.
Oh, but it's not.
It's not. Because this one really rubbed us the wrong way on so many levels.
Now where this is heading.
So Twitch is apparent, right? Twitch has improved their raids.
I knew you were going to touch this one.
So now you can edit raid criteria.
Yeah.
So instead of just, raiding whoever with however many people you had, you'll now be able to
set criteria.
You can set criteria like age groups, apparently.
Yep.
That's a thing you can do now. And the
Because
worst
that's
part,
really mandated.
oh yeah, and the worst part is the minimum and maximum viewer
Yeah.
thresholds.
Yeah.
That I want to throw up at that thought. Like I've seen
That made me
tweets.
sick.
I've seen tweets that are like fully on board with it. It's like, oh yeah, this is good for growth, and no. I mean,
No.
the example they put in the fucking video from Twitch,
Minimum was 50.
their video, they put minimum 50.
Yeah.
What?
It's yeah, I don't mind saying when I read that I actually like threw up in my mouth because it was just disgusting.
The
That
minimum
is such a
number
filthy
should not
thing.
exist. It doesn't matter what size you are. If you get rated with 2 viewers, great.
Be grateful.
Someone's decided to raid for you. Yeah, raid you. You get rated with 100 viewers. Kid. But
Yeah.
I the minimum shouldn't exist. Ever.
No, minimum shouldn't be there. No.
Ever. The maximum, I get the maximum. I understand it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because I understand people, with anxiety and all that sort of stuff. Where, they're doing their thing in a smaller stream. They've maybe got 10 viewers or something. They're comfortable with that number.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, like say 50 people just show up out of nowhere. They're gonna fucking freak out.
Yeah.
So I understand the maximum threshold. The only reason why they'd put a minimum threshold in is to screw the smaller streamer.
Yeah, exactly. The minimum is just basically it just goes into this hosting. Although on the raid thing, I remember my first raid on Mixer was actually from a partnered streamer. That was 100 bombs straight on my channel. It was pretty daunting, but as a streamer, now don't get me wrong, I understand that every streamer is different. But as a streamer, you kind of expect to be hit with raids, and you got to expect to be hit with 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Because that's what you're doing. That's the industry we're in. Some might have 1, 2. Some might have 50, 60.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's kind of like going into a tennis match and expecting to use a golf ball. Like you can't do that. There's got to be some sort of leniency where you program yourself to say, hey, this could happen, and I've kind of got to be ready for it.
Yeah. I mean, like I can't remember whether I was on Twitch or I was on Mixer. But like I knew raids were a thing. I knew people were doing it. I was quite happily doing my thing. I had, I don't know, maybe eight people watching at the time. And then all of a sudden I had like 65 watching my shit. That's an eye opener.
We touched on this.
It's a wild thing.
Season 1, I think, or season 2. We touched on, like, if you got raided with 1,000 people, would it change what you're doing? Well, no. You just keep going about your business. You just keep running what you're doing.
There's it's sort of a grey area, right? So technically, you shouldn't. You should just be you, continue doing you, however you are. Don't change anything. But there is that sort of, oh shit, people are here now. I need to,
you want to,
really sort of hype things. So I need to level up a bit. You don't need to. Honestly, just be yourself. Well, most of the time, people will go and check out another stream prior to raiding you.
Oh yeah.
So they're seeing you prior to the raid. That's obviously, if they've raided, that's what they were interested in. So
exactly,
continue being yourself.
But in touching on that, that's Twitch stuff is just phasing the small streamer out.
It is.
They're getting rid of the host, so you can't host a small streamer. But
I mean,
the bigger guys are going to put a minimum raid thing down of like 100, 150 people. So,
but
small streamers can't raid.
But you're going to get small streamers who are going to have that in their settings. Be like, oh no, you can't raid me unless you've got 50 people.
Yeah, that's right. Which is going to in turn just
Yeah,
buckle the small streamer.
It's ruining the mentality because you're projecting this image where you need to get viewers.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
emphasizing the viewers game.
Yeah.
You know, it's
100%.
way more toxic. I mean, they
And why
have
Twitch
added.
would be pushing. Gone.
Sorry, they have added the ability to deny incoming raids.
Yeah, exactly. So,
So
how would you be?
what
You want to
if,
come and
right?
raid me with your stream, and then I deny you? What are you going to do? Like, oh, what?
Yeah,
Oh,
okay,
shit.
dickhead. See you
Yeah,
later.
right.
But like, well, what if you had your minimum to 50, right? And someone showed up with 50, and you were like, could have been more. Deny. You know,
Yeah.
I'll wait for that. I'll wait for that higher stream or something.
Yeah, I'll wait for that bigger stream to come in that'll never turn up. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's wrong. No, it's all bad.
See,
Nothing
my
good comes from that.
So my thing with a raid is generally you find that other creators are watching this creator. So if you don't allow the raid, you potentially miss out on exponential growth. In some cases, like Memory Leak said, he's turned raids off because it's too disruptive. I understand that, especially if you're doing coding and stuff like that. I do get that issue. You know, I totally understand that. But as a general streamer, like if you raided me and you've come from SideNote, you know, obviously there's people watching SideNote. So SideNote goes and raids. Every person in that channel is obviously there for a reason, and you don't know how many creators are there and the size of their community. We don't know how many followers Memory Leak's got. We don't know how many Sane Ladies got. Yakes has got. We don't know that. Right? So if you deny a raid from coming through with, you know, X number, in a lot of theories, you're doing yourself an injustice by knocking back your exponential growth.
And like, what does that project to the person that's raiding you? You know, especially if it's midstream. Right. You know, midstream, someone decides to raid you, and then they get a notification saying, "Oh, sorry, your raid's been blocked."
Denied. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, Memory Leak makes a good point there about, you know, if you're winding up your stream, someone raids you.
I get that.
Okay, you obviously don't want them to raid you at that point. That's fair enough.
That's but, probably, you know, the common sense behind that feature. But they haven't really thought it through.
No, they haven't.
I mean, if they only added the ability to deny a raid, okay. You know, setting thresholds, I think, is just taking it way too far.
I mean, even so, like, I mean, at that point, I guess if I'm going offline and I get raided, I would rather thank the streamer. So if you raided me, for example, and I was getting off, I'd probably sit there and rather say, look, Speed, I appreciate the raid, my dude, but I'm getting offline. So if you want to take it elsewhere, you know, feel free to do so, you know, because that way I'm not just going blocking you and putting up a wall. So you get no interaction like, oh, why did I get blocked? Because you're not going to come back tomorrow. You're not going to come back next week. You're not going to come back in a couple of days. You're not going to come back and see it again because you've been blocked. So I think there needs to be a like a window, I guess, of opportunity where,
well, what if there was
myself? I used to have Saint Lady go out. If I say, "Hey, we're going to do a raid," I used to get her to go and look at who was on, and then go and talk for a few minutes, like, "Hey, you know, how you doing? You know, how long you on for? Blah blah blah. Oh, you know, I've just started. Okay, sweet, bang, there's a good raid."
All right, so
you know,
what if,
in that essence, I think it needs to be a different approach, I guess.
Yeah. So what if there was an option for the streamer to essentially have a raid blackout period, you know, prior to the end of their stream, you know, where they could enable it if they know they're getting off soon. You know, that way you couldn't essentially be raided.
Yeah, I mean,
And you
look,
wouldn't have to
that's
deal with, I'm literally hopping off in 1 minute's time, and I've just been raided. Hi everyone, sorry, got to go. Bye. You know.
yeah. Again, though, that's hard because I mean, look at you for example. You
Hmm.
know, you'll stream for 22 hours.
Hmm.
And then on the flip side, you'll start a stream, you'll get a phone call, you've got a bolt. So again,
Yeah,
how do you balance that as a streamer? So
yeah.
I think there's got to be a more natural streamer to streamer element on that.
Yeah. All right.
You know
So
what I mean? Like I
yeah.
said, I
So
used to get Sand Lady to go and talk and
yeah.
just sort of meet them and say, hey, if they were
Yeah.
attentive in chat, like if they were on their chat, yeah, okay, I'd go and raid them. If they were there, if they said, look, we're about to wind up, she'd go, okay,
Yeah.
well, I'll pop back another day, and then she'd go and
Okay.
find someone else. And
I
I
mean,
think
but if you don't have that extra person though, that kind of makes it a little bit difficult.
it
So
does, yeah.
like if you're doing it yourself, uh, in saying that, I'm kind of in agreement with you. Like, it should just be if you get raided, you get raided. That's it.
Yeah,
Like that.
yeah.
If it happens to fall at the wrong time where you're about to get off or whatever,
Because I think
such is
it
life.
shows a lot of integrity as a human. If someone raids you and you're getting off, you can either make the quick judgment, say, "Look, I'll stay on for another half an hour," or
Which
"Look,
is,
I'm
I
really
mean, I've
sorry,
been there.
but I'm actually getting off for the night. But thank you for the raid. I'll come check you out. I'll come talk to you.
Yeah.
And then you invest the time back into their channel. So you kind of build that connection. You build that relationship. I think
Yeah.
denying a raid, I mean, it's a workable feature and it's there, but I think it has to be done in such a way that, I mean, like, memory saying, what if you deny a raid with a message to the raider? That's great. But what happens if the raider comes back to you in half an hour and you're still going? I
Yeah.
think it's got to come back to the integrity of the human. It's got to be a human element at that point. You either accept raids with a maximum of 1,000 people, or you don't accept raids. Period. Like I think there's got to be some
Yeah.
sort of balance in the middle that says, hey, as a streamer, you understand the protocols and what happens when you start streaming. You understand that these things can happen.
Yeah.
That'd be like saying, "Oh, I don't accept donos under $100." Pardon? You fucking what?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just
Or
turn your
people
dono
setting
link
a
off because you're not
minimum
going to
don.
get
Yeah.
that.
Like the minimum
Yeah,
donation
exactly.
thing. That's a whole other problem.
So I think
Um.
it's got to come back to the human element about creating that connection with the incoming
Yeah.
raid, as in the streamer or the people, and say, look, guys, really appreciate the raid, but I'm getting off for the night.
Yeah.
It takes 3
Yeah.
seconds just to build that connection. And then it's more respect for that incoming raid too, because that person can say, oh, okay, it was a bad time to catch him, but hey, we'll come back another day. Don't worry about it. And it just gives that connection. I just think it's a fair way to go about it.
All right. Yeah. So rating, very black and white. You either get rated, say,
Or
with a
you don't.
maximum threshold, or you
Yeah,
don't
you
get
allow
rated.
a maximum number.
Yeah.
So you'd say a maximum of like 500
Yeah.
people or 100 people or 200, whatever.
So
You set your limit to say a maximum number,
Hmm.
or you just don't get rated at all.
yeah. Yeah, and it will come down to the streamer to understand that you can and will at some stage get rated at any time.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, you're looking in, say, Glimish right now, you've got the hosting. You can turn it on to be hosted, or you can turn it off and not be hosted. If you're not hosted, people can't find you. So it's as simple as that. I guess it depends on what direction you want to take as a streamer. Do you want to be that
Mm.
that quirky raid friendly type person?
Yeah.
Where you don't care, people can raid you, whatever, or do you just not want to be that person? Or do you want to be able to marry the two in a little bit, where you want to be raided, but you want to have smaller raids until you get used to that feeling of being raided, and then you up your number as you gradually get more involved and more in depth in it.
Mm.
You could say, hey, I've gone from 10 raiders to 25 in a month. I'm starting to feel more confident with raids, and then you can build from that point on.
Yeah.
So I think it's a human element. I think that's probably one of the human elements that we can't really control.
It's
in the streaming
more
field.
getting more people to understand, what
Yeah.
can happen whilst you're a streamer. because there is that perception, and people are
Yeah,
blinded,
exactly.
where they, they might get raided and just sort of like, why is this happening? Or
I think it's
or
understanding that the raid isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's more people trying to support your channel, but that's a streamer supporting you. That they're bringing their community to see your content because they like it. So
yeah,
clearly, it's a good
yeah.
thing.
Or they
I
wanted
think
to
we
support
got
you
to,
somehow.
yeah, we got to break this connection with raids and hate. Like it's not the thing. Like
Yeah. I mean,
I know it happens and I know it's hard, but
there was even a chat at some point, I believe, on the Glimish Discord about renaming the word raid when raids are a thing on Glimish. You don't have to rename it. Like, a raid is a raid. I mean,
well, I mean, a raid is
it's not like you're going to be like, a raid?
Place,
oh, no, I'm having like World War One flashbacks. No. Like, come on.
I think
it's silly. It's
raiding
just
is
a
a good
name.
thing.
It is.
And I mean, look,
it is.
The thing is, like, if you get a toxic person come in the raid, the streamer who's just raided you is going to see that that person's toxic in their community. They're going to get rid of it quick, smart, and in a hurry anyway. So again, I don't see it being a negative thing.
No,
I know
it's how you.
It's more between the top guys who are trying to be funny with each other, and it was taken out of context in some ways. It was taken out of context. Not saying it should have been done in the first place, but you know, it was. You know,
I think the benefit would come from how you implement the raid system, not necessarily what it's called. It's how it's implemented that will actually change.
Yeah, 100%. But I think it's still human element.
Yeah, it is. It will always be like 80% human element. Easy. Another interesting feature, which I have trouble with. So Twitch will be experimenting with queues. So at the moment they have follow queues. So a message will pop up at the bottom of your chat, reminding the streamer to remind your chatters that maybe it's a good time to follow if you haven't already. And they've stated that this will be the first of many different queues that will be implemented.
I mean,
why? Why can't Twitch interact with the chatter themselves? Know exactly how long they've been there for, or whether they're active or not.
But that feature is aimed at a small streamer. It's more of a guidance. Hey, you should probably talk to your people right now. But yet you're trying to get rid of the small streamer. It's
it's hypocritical. Yeah,
over 100 follows isn't already doing that. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Over 20 follows, you're already doing that. Like, you're streaming. You're already talking to those people. Like, hey, you know, if you like the content, smash the follow button. You know, it's up there. It's the blue one over in the top corner. Go and hit it. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, all right. First off, it's not YouTube. I understand with YouTube, you remind people, hit the subscribe button, give a thumbs up, because it helps with analytics and helps the content creator understand what's tracking well and what isn't. It actually makes sense on that level.
Mm-hmm.
Why does that matter? Why does following someone matter on a stream? It doesn't. There is no benefit to that.
I don't get it.
And the first of many. Like, what else are they going to do? Going to remind you that they've been there for a month following. Have you considered subscribing today?
Yeah. That's exactly right. It'll be the next thing.
No, hey, I'm sorry. That's gross.
Go and hit, that subscribe button up there.
That'd be like, say you're a small streamer and you notice someone's been there for 6 hours of your stream. You'd be like, oh, hey, notice you've been here for 6 hours. Do you want to follow?
Yeah.
if I was on the receiving end of that, I'd be like, no, I've just enjoyed hanging out. See ya.
Yeah, bye.
I'm out of here. Bye.
I mean, that's going to be very obvious too. Like you're going to see, you're going to see that. You're going to see streamers that actually will use that as a selling point, and it's going to be ugly.
People are going to push for it now. They're going to constantly remind people to follow or subscribe or, oh, yeah. Did you know that you can spend $5 and get an elevated chat message? It's going to turn into, it's going to, basically, you're advertising. This is what it is. It's a roundabout way of advertising for Twitch. It's advertising its features. This is the direction they're going for.
Yeah.
Twitch can't let go of the advertising bag. That's all they know. Advertising.
I mean, yeah.
And memory, I'm sorry to say, your Twitch Prime sub is going bye-bye. if you've got a Twitch Prime sub, that shit one day is just going to cease to exist. They are removing it from the table.
It's crazy. I mean, like Saint Lady said there, she hated getting called out when she joined a chat. That was one thing Trovo did. As soon as you joined a chat, bang, you're there. It's like
we spoke about.
I want to look. I just want to admire the stream and see what you're all about. If I don't like it, I can sneak out the door and fuck off. No.
Yeah. Like we spoke about that feature when they announced it. Where it would highlight only to the streamer that this person has joined and it's their first time.
Yep.
It's then on the streamer to either ignore it or call them out.
Mm-hmm.
If people don't want to be called out, don't call them out. On Mixer, I used to call a few of my friends out only because I was a dick. I'd be like, I've noticed you've been sitting there for 4 hours. You better fucking say something. Yeah. But you don't call people out. People want to lurk. People just want to, because they might just want to sit back and just listen to the stream, or they might not want to interact or anything like that. Don't call people out. It's not the right way to do things.
I mean, the other thing I used to do, and this is something we were going to talk about a few shows ago, is about tabs on Glimish. People said, what's the point of having tabs open for people? Well, it's because you can support them. Like, I might not be able to be there physically because I'm out at work or I'm out doing something, but at least the tab is up.
Oh,
so it's providing support.
I mean, this floats into a very interesting topic of viewer numbers. Because, that only works if there's viewer numbers to consider. Really. Like, you may have a tab open and you're not necessarily watching them, but it doesn't really count towards anything unless it's a viewer number.
No, but it puts it back to the streamer. So let's say Yakes starts his stream and he's got one person already there. Like, that's already a confident step. It's all like, oh, yeah, someone's already here. It might be the same when he gets offline. There's still one person. At least he knows someone is actually physically there, not just going, oh, look, 0. I've gotten off and there's no one here now.
Yeah, but it's the viewer mentality. No, it's the viewer number mentality.
Point.
Where you're influenced by the viewer number. Where if you only have one person watching, it's most likely yourself. A lot of people will get down in the dumps and be like, well, fuck, no one's watching me. This is kind of, and I feel kind of down now. Or you can just go for it. Just do your thing. Just have fun. Like that.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm always going to have 13 or 14 tabs open. I don't give a shit. Say what you want. Say how it feels. I don't care. I'm out there. I'm going to put my tab on people, and that's the way it is. Like, and that's what it should be. It should be down to whatever you want to do. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Like, there's no right or wrong. Especially on Glimish, there's no right or wrong.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying that you.
I want them to feel that they're supported by just being able to open it and be like, oh, sweet, someone's here. like Wingman, for example, he always knew.
Mm.
He'd be like, Satan Lord's still here as soon as he'd start. Like, it's just the way
Like,
it is.
by no means am I saying that it shouldn't happen. I mean, people can do whatever it is that they like, but the idea does tie into a view account, and that view account is highly influential.
Oh, it can be, as you put up in the Building Glimmerish site. Yes, it can be.
Yes,
But I also think
So-
it's a good thing for even just as a general consensus. Even if you didn't have a view account, even just having a tab open for you, at least you feel good in yourself that you're there. You've known that, you put that effort into tabbing a mate or another creator to support them while they're there. Like, you may not be there to talk.
Like I've done
But
it
at least
where
you're there
I've been doing my own thing, and I've had someone else's stream up on another screen. I might not be interacting with, but I'm listening.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, there's that, but then there's having like, a hidden tab somewhere that has someone's stream open. To me, it seems a little redundant. But my opinion. we'll move on from that one.
I was going to say, speaking on that, because we're touching on browsers, Twitch is now only supporting the 3 major browsers: Firefox, Edge, and Chrome. Well done, Twitch.
Yeah.
Good job.
I don't know why. Makes no sense. So obviously they had a major issue last week where people couldn't log in.
Yep.
So their reaction, instead of, I don't know, fixing it, was just to remove support from
But they were never going to fix it.
browsers. No, but that's their fix. Their fix is to remove support from other browsers. That's their fix. They didn't fix the problem.
Never going to fix it.
Still there.
No.
You could log into Chrome and still not be able to log in.
But again, I mean, if you've got bots creating accounts, it's not hard for them to create bots on the Chromium network anyway. It doesn't help. It's just funneling them now into 3 other places. It's just crazy.
It's not going to stop anything by any means.
No.
But it's just ridiculous, to say the least. Yeah. It's again another Twitch knee-jerk reaction. It's like, oh shit, there's a problem. What do we do? Easy fix. Let's just get rid of all the rest.
Yep.
We won't fix the problem. We'll just sweep the rest of it under the rug.
4 million does not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, if you're in South Korea, terribly sorry. As of it's already happened. So as of September 30th,
4 days ago.
Yeah, as of September 30th, Twitch will be limited to 720p streaming
in South Korea.
It's stated that this is due to the operating costs, which in South Korea are much higher than in other regions.
Yeah, but didn't Asmongold do a comparison between his main channel and his secondary channel that isn't monetized? And it worked out. His second channel was it cost Twitch like $185,000 a year or something just to have that channel.
Serious?
Because it's not monetized. Yeah, I swear it was Asmongold who did it.
I don't think I ever saw that.
I'll have to see if I can find it.
But I mean, that's bad. That's a bad start, because that's just South Korea. That shit's gonna roll out to other places.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say it's got to transition. Yeah, for sure.
There's gonna be other countries where it's like, it's a little higher than it could be, than it should be. Sorry, we're gonna have to limit. You're still streaming in high definition. Massive quotation marks there. But I don't know. I don't like that. That is the start of a massive domino effect I can see happening where they're just going to continue to go down a path of cutting costs to the point where they're almost bare bone. It'll be millions of features, but you can only do this. um, and also, if they're cutting costs, why are they, paying all these devs to work on all these new features?
Right.
Why are they pushing that so hard? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Nope.
Unless they've backlogged all of these features, and they're just like, right, let's just get them out. Possibly.
Yeah.
Oh, now, we had some hot discussions about this next feature.
Ooh.
It's the shout out commands.
Oh God, yes.
So Twitch will now be implementing a new shout out command that will work in chat. So you won't necessarily need a third party app or website to have an alert or anything like that. It will show up in chat. So it allows the broadcasters and mods to share a follow button directly in chat using the shout out command.
I don't like it.
And it will
I stand by my. I had to think about this further on, and I stand by my statement.
And it will show up in their activity feed in the person that's being shouted out. It will show up in their activity feed with the number of viewers you shouted them out to.
Yep. No,
that I don't like. Okay.
It's same with Pixel Chat. He's got the on his shout out command, he's got the follower number, like total followers on that channel that you're shouting out.
I don't agree with that.
I don't like it. I've got it turned off. I don't like it. I don't want to know how many followers that the person I'm shouting out's got. That's got nothing to do with it. I
see some benefits, and this is obviously where our roads cross and we don't entirely line up. I see the benefit in having a shout out pop up in the chat and having a follow button there. Because, you could follow, not necessarily leave the streamer that you're on, and check them out later. I don't mind the idea. I don't see anything that bad with it. You have a different opinion on the entire matter.
Well, yeah, okay. So let me start with a very simple prospect. When you follow somebody, it's because you like their content, correct?
Yes.
Right.
All right.
So why would you've
got me on that. Right.
So there you go.
I will. I will drop into a stream and I will, watch them for a bit and maybe follow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But so why would you follow blindly out of a chat?
But say you were streaming with one of your mates that I hadn't met yet, and you were like, "This dude's a top bloke, like absolutely top stuff, absolutely hilarious. Should totally watch him." I would probably follow, and then check him out later.
Right. So, point 2 is it's going to create empty follows. It's going to artificially inflate the follower count, and it's going to create empty follows because people are not going to get around to it. And when you're looking at streaming in general, you're talking retention. If you've got 1,000 followers and you're only retaining 10 people, that's a problem.
You're talking about a numbers game, the numbers game that only exists on Twitch.
But this is where the feature is.
Yeah, I know. I understand this. I'm thinking more a general perspective, but yeah, like it would influence the follower numbers because it's the same as rating. That influences numbers in some sense as well.
It does, and only if it becomes a requirement for a metric. So, AKA shout outs on Glimmers. If Glimmers said, hey, we're going to do shout outs in the channel, okay, that's cool. Shout outs. But I do not feel there should be a follow button put in the chat, because I want you to go and look at that channel. I want you to go and see their panels. I want you to go and see their last 5 messages in chat. I want you to go to their channel. I don't want you just to click the button and forget about it. I don't want that. No, I'm sorry. It's a shit idea. Straight up. It's just not right. And like Memory Leak saying it shouldn't be tied to analytics. Like if I shout you out,
No,
you
it
shouldn't be
be
able to see how many people have just got there.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a grey area for me. I can see some benefit, and I also see your point of view as well. So I don't know.
I just see it. There's going to be a lot of empty follows. Like, people are just going to click it to make the streamer who did the shout out look good to the next streamer that is getting the shout out. But at the end of the day, they're just not going to go there. They're just going to be like, yeah, whatever. This is my streamer. This is where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going to go there. I just see it being a wasted feature.
Yeah. I mean, the bit I definitely don't like is the message that goes to the person that's being shouted out.
Oh,
that
yeah.
says you've just been shouted out to 76 people on this channel. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. What's that going to do? Because out of, like, say, those 76 people, how many would actually go over and follow or hit the follow button?
Exactly. Yeah, check your follows. I was 72 today. They shared me out with 76, and I'm only 73 now. Like, I've gained one follow.
Yeah.
It would be a demoralizing factor to know that someone with 1,000 people shouted you out and no one's followed. I think it would be more of a hindrance and a deterrent than it would be as a help. Where if it's the other way around,
as we've already discussed, this is not for the smaller streamer. All of these features are not for smaller streamers. They're for the big time players, the ones that actually make the money for the platform.
Yep.
Yeah. One feature I actually did like, but I think has been implemented wrong, is the scheduling feature. So,
yeah, this is one we kind of agreed on.
Yeah, it's sort of a weird.
Kind of had a different direction.
It's a weird thing. All right, so they're experimenting with scheduled streams. So if you've got, I believe they implemented it last year, where you can actually set up a timetable on when your streams are going to be. So if people went to your channel, they could see when your next stream was.
Oh, okay. You're not live today, but you're live on Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, you're live on Friday at this time.
3 o'clock.
Playing that game. Yeah. This is an extension on that. So you will actually see in your follower list. I actually was able to see it. I don't know why I was able to see it. It's right down the bottom of your follower page. It will actually show all the upcoming streams at what time.
Yep.
That's a cool idea. I don't mind the idea of that. But you know, what if, and this is the example I said to you, what if you schedule a stream, something comes up, you can't make it to that stream, especially if you're relatively popular. You're gonna have those people. We all know those people who are going to get shitty at the fact that you aren't entertaining them for whatever reason. You said you were going to stream today, you're not streaming. I don't give a fuck about your personal life.
Yeah.
My entertainment is paramount.
Yeah.
That, I mean, that's natural. You're probably going to get that sort of response. But it also, see, this is why I don't like schedules either. Like, because it sort of plays on the streamer.
Very hard.
Yeah. Unless streaming is your full-time job, where it is your only job. At that stage, schedules are important. You become regular. It's like going out to a normal job. you start at a
Exactly. Yeah.
time and you go on for however many hours, and that
Yep.
is what you do, and that's cool. But for a smaller streamer, yes, it does help
It's a hobby.
to have a schedule, so people know when you're going to be streaming. But
Mm.
life is life. We don't always make it, so it's sort of a letdown for the streamer. It's a mental game where it can deteriorate.
I think
The whole concept.
I think what you hit the nail on the head. If you're a full-time streamer, schedule should be something you stick to. If you're a hobby streamer, so you've got a job, you've got other
Mm.
things, schedules are just not a great
Yeah.
system, because you get to a point where the mental burnout, the mental frustration is too much. It's like, shit, I'm stuck in traffic. I've got to be online in like 25 minutes. Come on, come on, come on. So you
Yeah.
fly in the door, then you're quickly ripping your work shirt or putting another shirt on, turning, hey guys, how you going? Yeah, let's go. You got to
Like,
make it out like you've been there. And it doesn't work like that. That's not the way it should be. You should be able to stream at
but like,
a relatively comfortable
regardless,
time frame.
of who you are, I mean, you might come home from work one day and just get home and be like, nah,
Sit on the
just
couch and pass
no,
out.
nothing's happening today. Like
Yeah,
me.
that's right.
I'm just gonna go sit on the couch for 5 minutes before I stream in half an hour. 4 hours later, I wake up on the couch. Oh crap! It's that time. Well, try again tomorrow.
Dinner, shower, and got to go back to bed so I can go to
But
work.
there are days where you just don't feel it, and you
Yeah,
shouldn't
exactly.
stick to a schedule and be like, right, well, I'm going to stream because that's my schedule. Like some people can, and props to them. They support a full-time job, families, and they are regularly on the money
Yeah,
with streaming.
exactly. Yeah.
Props to them. Not all of us
But
can
even
do
that,
that.
but even that takes its mental toll, and you'll still hit
Eventually, it
burnout at
will.
some stage, and you've
Yeah,
got to look after yourself first and
you will
foremost.
hit burnout. So, like, I don't have a schedule. I don't like keeping I mean, I would like to keep a schedule, but I understand the realistic nature. So, people understand. I don't have a schedule. I might stream tomorrow, but I will be streaming again sometime soon. It's not like, well, I've just done that
Yeah.
stream for today. You won't see me for another month.
Yeah, no, that's right. It's hard to maintain a constant when there's so many variables.
Yeah. I mean, schedules are good if you're focusing on growth. If growth is your thing and you want to, actually build a community and, that sort of stuff, schedules are great because if you're
Did
regular,
you know?
people know exactly when you're streaming, people will show up.
But did you know something though? You say that, but being a regular, if you're on every other day, people get to know that you don't need a schedule because they know you're going to be on every other day. I think scheduling come
Yeah.
down to, again, the whole Twitch thing is like, hey, you should be scheduling, from the top guys saying, oh, you should be scheduling. So, you've got schedule for Monday is Forza, schedule for Tuesday is Fortnite,
Oh,
schedule.
that sort of extent.
Again,
Yeah, no,
that
I
kind of
think that's
scheduling,
going a bit too
no,
far.
that's
Yeah.
ridiculous. But if you're on
Mm.
regularly or every other day, people kind of get into that thing. And then if you're not on for, say, you're not on Tuesday like you normally would, people reach out and say, hey, you're right. Yeah, sorry, look, I was kept back at work. I just couldn't make a stream or, whatever. I think that in itself is its own scheduling without actually having a time set that says, hey, I'm going to be live at 3 o'clock and you don't go live until 3:30. Like,
And like scheduling games, I know some people do it. Like they'll plan out their whole week, right? They'll be like, this day I'm playing this game. This day I'm going to continue playing that game. This day I'm going to play something different. This day I'm going to play something different again. I don't like that because I mean you
Yeah.
can get to that day and be like, just not feeling that game today.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's streaming. It's got to be when you feel it. Like it takes a lot mentally and physically to sit and stream for 2, 3, 4, 5, however long you sit and stream for. I mean, Crazy Man has done 22 hours, but
longer, but that's not the point.
And longer, but that's what I'm saying though. But you were in that groove, so that kind
Yeah.
of flowed, and it kind of gave you
And
that rhythm.
that was a free flow day. I had no intentions of streaming 22 hours that day, but I was just zoned in on that game, and it was just like, yeah, people were worried about me, and rightly so. But it's you just got to feel it, Yeah, give new games or new content a try and whatnot.
Yep.
You find something that sticks, and if you try something new and you're like, damn, I really enjoyed that, keep going with it. Like,
Yeah,
don't flip between 8 different things throughout the week. It's just it's too overwhelming. Sometimes.
Well, I mean, like SideNote Lady just said there, but it can also take a lot of energy to start a stream in the first place. Like,
yeah.
How often have you sat down, looked at the thing, and just gone, "I'm here."
All right. Okay. The amount of times I'm pretty sure you did it. You did it yesterday, actually. So don't you go pointing fingers at me.
Looking at it. No. But what I'm saying is, how often have you done it? Like, I know I've
done it quite a lot. Where I've come home from work. I've had a shower, got dressed, and I've sat here. Everything's set up. Everything's ready to go, and I sit here. And I'm either sitting here and I've completely zoned out because my brain's just not there, or I just can't decide what to do.
Yeah.
And I'll just sit here, and then an hour passes, and I'll continue to sit here. 2 hours pass, and it'll get to a stage where it's like, well, it's too late to stream now. So
see, that's my thing. That's my exact excuse. I could stream at 7:30 and I could stream at 8 o'clock and I could stream at 5 in the afternoon. But I sit there at 5 and I go, no, I'll do it after dinner. So after dinner comes, it's like 6:30, 7 o'clock. I'll be like,
classic procrastination. Yeah, I'll do it after I do
like,
that.
Oh, no, it's too late now. Yeah, it's too late now. It's 7:30. Fuck it. I just won't bother.
Yeah. But it's like me when I go to sit on the couch. I'm sitting here. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to stream. It's a bit early yet. I'll go and sit on the couch and watch YouTube for a little bit. And then 6 hours pass.
A little later. Maybe tomorrow. Good night.
It's a terrible thing, but it does happen. We're not perfect. We are human after all. We do
That's right.
make mistakes and struggle to keep schedules. I mean,
scheduling is not a great idea.
No.
Don't force yourself to a schedule unless you have the flexibility to do so. But for God's sakes, please look after the mental health. That's at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Mental health is what it's all about. So keep it friendly to yourself.
Now, this one happened yesterday. So someone was banned in a chat for not actively chatting and only lurking.
Now, I've read further on this today, and it seems like it might have been a bit of a troll move. I'm not sure.
From the streamer?
Well, I don't know. It seems like it was maybe a bot issue or something along those sort of lines.
Right.
But it still opens up a good topic for discussion is, if you're that much of a dick that you're going to ban lurkers, please turn the cam off, shut it down, and fuck off. I'm sorry. At that point, you just don't fit in that program, because you can't do that with lurkers. Like, they're the ones who backbone your stream.
I mean, but there are people who, genuinely, if they're streaming, they want active chatters, because again, on Twitch, that's like a new metric, is active chatters. And lurkers don't count towards views anymore. Because if you're lurking and you're not an active chatter, you have to be an active chatter to be a viewer.
How? When you've
in
already
the
got the
metrics.
channel up. My account is signed into Twitch, and I've got that channel loaded. I know, but why?
Because they want people interacting with chats. They don't want lurkers anymore.
Well, then maybe they need to change their fucking thing over their metrics and say, right, it's now got to be X amount of active chats per fucking stream to be partnered, because lurkers are the backbone. They're the ones who are supporting the channel. They're the real people. They're the real heroes of the channel.
Mm.
And like, if you're working, like Memory League's saying, like, while he's working, he's got streams on there.
Yeah.
You know,
Sorry about
phone piss off. But yeah, like, lurkers are the backbone of any stream. I don't care who it is. I don't care if you're Ninja with 100,000 people or if you're SideNote with fucking 5. Lurkers are the backbone of the stream.
Yeah. I mean, but people will be listening to audio only.
Exactly.
But, audio only viewers don't count as viewers, according to Twitch. And no.
It's so frustrating.
So here's a thought. Do we need to change the name from viewers? Do we need a different name?
No, because in theory, anybody who has your channel open is a viewer. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter whether you're there. Warm bodies.
Warm bodies, yeah.
Excellent. But whether you're there or whether you're lurking, you've still got the channel open, so you're still technically a viewer. I think it's just Twitch, in their bullshit wisdom, have decided to create this stupid, over-convoluted system that makes no sense.
But I think Twitch has taken the word viewer literally and a little bit more.
But they couldn't have. They couldn't have taken it literally, because anybody who has the channel open on a browser is technically a viewer.
I know. That's why they've gone that little extra step saying you need to be active. No, I'm sorry. No,
that's wrong on every account. If you ban a lurker for just the purpose of lurking, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Get out of the business.
Because say you have 100 people watching your stream. You're not going to have 100 people chatting in your chat.
No way.
You probably have maybe a quarter of that. Half, maybe, if you're lucky. Actually chatting in the chat. There is a percentage rule, that does go across streaming, where a certain percentage.
Kind of mandated.
I mean, but it does work though. Where if you have X amount of viewers, you will have roughly X amount of chatters. Unless you're like super lucky and everyone's chatting, which does happen in smaller streamers. But
I never listen to that metric, because again, there's so many variables.
I think the percentage works for followers. I think it's
followers to viewers, yes, but viewers to chatters, no.
Yeah, I think it's the 5% rule or something. It's like whatever followers you have, 5% of those will actually regularly watch.
Return as viewers, yeah.
Yeah. So this is where follower numbers mean absolutely nothing, because this is what people don't understand. They think, I've got 1,000 followers, I'm going to have 1,000 people watching my shit. No, that's not how it works.
Doesn't work like that.
No,
absolutely not.
But as Twitch is cutting down on funding resources, and they're hemorrhaging money like no tomorrow, they've done what they thought was the best thing that they could possibly do, was hire Megan Thee Stallion to appear at TwitchCon. Because what?
Yeah. I don't.
Why not spend a ridiculous amount of money on a high-profile performer to be at your convention, and then cut funding to all of your partner streamers?
Yeah.
Because why not?
I mean, that just... I mean, look, yes,
Yes.
the Megan the Stallion, yes.
Yes.
So the
Yes.
same, I think it was 20, not less than 24 hours after they announced the partnered revenue cut, they then announced that they have hired Megan the Stallion to appear at TwitchCon. So you can
Yeah.
understand that went down like a lead balloon with a lot of the partners. But it just, look, we covered off Stadia earlier and it's closing. Google is shutting it down. Period. Twitch is implementing so many YouTube-ish features. The question's got to be asked.
I
And
mean,
someone in the industry has to come forward and openly state the sheer fact that they ran a. Did I share it in the planning, or did I share it with you directly? That they actually running. It was before this announcement about Megan the Stallion, but they were offering a tutorial on how to build your YouTube channel.
yes, it was. Hang on, no, it was in. I'll find it.
It was in planning, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah. So
Twitch advertised a sit down with X person to build your YouTube channel. Why?
yes, so they hosted a webinar on September 29th, where they invited right, Twitch invited people.
Invited, yeah.
So very selective crowd, as they like to do, to the webinar, which would be going over how to optimize your YouTube channel for Twitch, including aspects to consider when creating your YouTube programming strategy. Wow, that's very technical. Examples of what content from streams works on YouTube and why.
Yeah.
Why would they be talking about that? And evaluating your analytics with improvement in mind. Wow.
And then they announced Megan the Stallion at TwitchCon.
But the whole analytics thing. But they've changed everything they've done with analytics to more align with what YouTube is. I mean, now they've got find it again. So the chat activity panel, which is linked to your VOD on Twitch. So it shows at what point chat was more active in your VOD.
Yep.
So basically, it's audience retention. It's YouTube viewership. That's what that is. Because I can see that. I can see that data for the SideNote channel, where I can see where people are viewing more often than others. It's the same shit. I mean, it means absolutely dick diddly to me, because we ramble on for an hour and a half, so it doesn't really matter which point people, thought was interesting. If you find it interesting, fucking comment. Just don't,
But to make that and then follow up with the announcement of Megan the Stallion at TwitchCon, I mean,
sorry,
they're signing. They are sinking their own ship, and they're sinking it fast.
They are burning from the inside, and they are trying to do everything they can to mask the fire. They're not trying to put the fire
they're moving
out.
everybody up. Yeah, they're moving everybody up so they don't see the fire. It's like, hey, go up here. Look what we're doing up here. Look, isn't it pretty?
Basically,
look at the land. Look at that.
Basically, what they're doing is cutting their losses. Smaller streamers, they need to go. Let's implement features so they were like, well, this place sucks. I'm going somewhere else. So they've only got the higher end streamers. But even the higher end streamers, they're like, right, well, we're going to implement features for you guys to get you more adapted to the YouTube way of life.
Yeah.
So, when we actually do kick the bucket, you know where you can go, because you've got all the knowledge to move on.
Perform over there. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry. Sooner or later, it's going to happen. Twitch is going under, and it's going to take a lot of people with it. And I feel sorry for those people.
I do. I know there's a lot of people over there that still believe Purple's going to be around. Oh no, Twitch will never go anywhere.
Yeah.
You got to understand.
I know people like that too.
You need to realize it's bleeding and hemorrhaging money like it is going out of fashion. Hence why these super chats and all that kind of stuff are coming up.
Like I follow a few people over on Twitch.
Get out.
Yeah. Like I know a few people on Twitch, and they're willing to ride the ship down. You know, and it will be their last it will be their last stint. You know, they enjoy streaming, they really do, and most of them do it for the fun of it. They actually enjoy doing it. But if Twitch goes under, that's it for them. Like they'll be done.
There's going to be a lot of people in that boat, I think, where if it goes under, they're just done and dusted. They're just not even going to bother trying. But I would rather see people branch out now and actually start building and bringing their communities to other platforms, aka Glimish and Brime and whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
get the out of there before that ship sinks, because it is going under fast.
Yeah, look at the independent platforms. Look at the smaller guys. You know, check them out. Don't go to another big platform, because you're going to end up in the same place. You know, don't go over to Trovo. Don't go over to YouTube.
One thing that Speed and I have spoken about directly is the revenue, the cut. You know, you can't offer 70, and we're seeing it now. You can't offer 70-30 and survive. I mean, that's killed their backbone. That's killed the business. You know, and 50-50 is probably good if it's a generic 50-50. Like, you know, you get 50%, they get 50%, they pay fees. I don't see the bigger platforms. Like, I know Facebook's doing 100% of subs right now, but he's hemorrhaging money as well because of Meta. You know,
he's absolutely delusional. He has no idea he's in his own little fucking planet.
So I wouldn't think that Facebook is going to be the gaming side might still be around, but I don't know at what point.
I see Facebook gaming as volatile as Twitch is.
Well, yeah.
Like you got to remember, Zuckerberg is spending so much money on this whole Meta idea. Like, he is banking his life on Meta being the new thing. That's dangerous.
The non-corporate platforms are your ones that are going to make the ripples, and they're the ones who are going to ride the waves, and they're the ones who are going to be able to do things better, different, and give you the space that you require.
Like on the splits, you know, I believe YouTube it would equate to almost a true 50% split for most of their stuff. You know, Twitch is not true 50-50. It's 50-50 after fees come out. So you actually get less than 50.
Exactly, I mean, Shin. It is a
as far as I'm aware, you know, Glimish is the only place offering a true 60%.
Well, and that's true split. Period. It's a true split.
It's a true 60% split. Yeah, and
exactly.
You know, that's a fair deal. And to all those people who, you know, go into the Glimish Discord or whatever, and they suggest, you know, you should do 70-30. Look, personally, I don't understand why the fuck everyone is obsessed with 70-30. Why is that the new thing? Why 70-30?
Because when you look at the Twitch 50-50 breakdown, it doesn't look 50-50 as we spoke about. It looks more, you know, 60-40, 70-30. Look, after the fees come out of your payment,
after fees, you're getting 60%.
So it looks like, but on Twitch, it looks like you're only getting 35-40%. So that's where people are saying, hey, it should be a 70-30. So by the time that comes out, they're still only going to get 60% anyway, or 65%, because they've got to pay the fees.
Yeah.
They're not realizing that the platform isn't paying the fees, that the streamer pays the fees.
Yeah.
That's what they've got to understand. I mean, I wouldn't
Yeah.
even care if Glimish gave us options to say, do you want to do 60-40, 50-50, or 40-60, where 60% goes back to Glimish and I get 40%. I don't care about $2.
Yeah.
I mean, another dollar to Glimish to me is a benefit,
Yeah, I mean, we discussed that the other day. Actually, I brought up the idea of having the option of having a split, choosing your
Like,
split from the platform.
I mean, I understand it would be a nightmare to implement and all that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
it'd be just absolute mind fuck of an idea to implement, but it would be an
But I mean, if you
interesting
had the
idea.
top 60-40, 50-50, 40-60, 30-70, 20-80, or 10-90, or even zero revenue. Like if you want to take nothing from anything that comes through for a certain period of time, like that would be a really, like, again, that would be a feature that would not be seen across the streaming world. Like it would be different. It would be,
I mean, but already, you've got a true 60-40 split. That doesn't exist anywhere
100%.
else. And
No.
for people who are in it for the money, that is the best deal that you are going to get.
Yeah.
On
there's no
pretty
viewership,
much
apparently.
any
So who's
platform.
going to sub?
Yeah, but there's no.
That was what I heard. That's what I heard.
There's
this
no
past week.
streamers
Someone
on the
said to me,
platform, so I'm not going to go stream on a platform where there's no streamers.
wasn't even that.
How does that make sense?
In a public forum, I might add, and I basically just shut the conversation down. I just walked away from it because I'm like, okay, at that point, you're delusional. They said to me they won't stream on Glimish because there's no viewership, and who's going to sub to them? Bring your fucking community. They will sub here. You get more money than what you're making over there. Like, hello?
But this ties into what I just said as well. If there are people streaming on the platform, the viewers will come in and watch. Yeah,
build it and they will come.
But I've seen the comments of there's no streamers on the platform, so I'm not going to stream there. Sorry, the other streamers aren't going to watch your shit whilst you're streaming, especially if they're streaming.
The other thing that I did, I have noticed, and I kind of lined this up with a comment that was on Twitter, about 8 days ago now. Mm-hmm. Someone said, it might have been in response to you. There's only 2 streamers on the platform. Sorry, 3.
Yeah.
My question
it was from one of the tweets I made, and I was like promoting
They're
Glimish
clicking on the front page. They're only clicking on the landing page and seeing 2 people.
Yeah.
Now, that's not going into the tabs and seeing the 9 people that aren't featured on the front page because they haven't ticked the box or they haven't made the 10 hours. So I'm wondering if there's maybe
I remember seeing that comment.
A solution.
I don't know. See, I remember seeing that comment, and an hour later, right, I went on to Glimish because it was like, okay, maybe it's just a quiet day or something. I went on the platform. I went into the gaming tab. What do you know? Like 15 people streaming. 15 like people. That's not 2.
That's what I'm saying. Are these impressions of people saying there's only 2 streams live because they're going to the landing page, the homepage?
Yeah, because there's only 2 streams being featured at that stage.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So maybe that's now. I don't know. Memory Leak and Mytho, if you guys are still around, I mean, feel free to chime in on this just quickly. But I'm wondering if there's a better system for the landing page.
See, I'm all on board for the 6 featured streams. I absolutely 100% get that.
No, I'm not talking about the feature. I'm saying, is there a way that we could say when you go to the landing page, if people are seeing 2 streams, but yet there's 12 in gaming, is there a better way to highlight that we've got X in those categories rather than just what's being
what if you had what if you had it underneath the featured streams where you had X streams in gaming, X streams in art?
Because the boxes are there. So what if that number was a variable in gaming, art, music, whatever? If they'll say 16, 14, 2, 1, whatever. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe, because I'm just wondering if that's what's putting people off is they click to Glimish and they're looking at the landing page
and
they're only
thinking that's it.
seeing
Because
3 or 4 people, and that's
well,
all there is.
I think the problem is that it's that Twitch mindset, right? Because they're used to Twitch,
Right.
where there are a butt ton of streams just there, and categories and all that. It's all just there.
But the problem being, okay, let's say there's still 1,000 streamers on Twitch. If people land on the Glimish page and it's only showing 6 people, what the initial thing is, oh, there's only 6 people. It's too small.
Yeah.
Is that the mentality that we're seeing on the front, on the landing page?
It's quite possible, yeah. I mean,
Well, that's what I mean.
because I mean, there are times
right
where there are only 2 featured streams.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
sometimes
exactly.
even
There
1.
is, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So
because I correlated that statement, I looked, and yes, there was only 2 on the front page, but inside there was more. Now, whether they've not ticked the, be featured on the homepage or whatever the choice is that they've made, that doesn't replicate properly with what's actually on the platform.
I think it's a lot to do with Twitch. It really is. Because with Twitch, you go to the main page, you can scroll down, you see categories, you see other streams. That's the sort of mentality I think a lot of these people have, where they see the front page, see there's only 2 streams, scroll down, oh, look, nothing else. They don't think, oh, I'm going to explore the platform. Oh, look, up the top, there's other categories up there. I'm going to go and check that out.
Right. No, I get that. But what I'm saying, though, is if that's the mentality, how can we bridge the Glimish way versus the Twitch way to make people see that it's not just 2, 3, 4 people? Because again, like if your theory in what you're saying is that you get 10,000 people streaming on the platform, it's only going to show 6 on the landing page.
Yeah.
It's not going to show the right definition of what's on Glimish as such.
Yeah.
And, AKA when Trovo was the same way, they made changes to replicate obviously Twitch because they had the AWS framework. But
all right, so should there be?
And it would be the same for Brime and SharePlace, things like that.
So should there be a message on the front page, say under the featured streamers or something? So like there are more content creators in categories. I don't know. You could word it in such a way where it doesn't sound like shit.
Down the bottom, you've got the boxes anyway, which are the categories. We could put a number in there. You've got the gaming. Why couldn't we have a live number that feeds when someone starts, finishes, or whatever that number rolls?
So
down the bottom. If you look at the front page, go down the bottom.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, you could have a number. You could have say 6 live
active numbers. Yeah.
You could have an updating count on that actual category button. Yeah.
Because I'm wondering if the impression is when they come over, they're seeing 2 or 3 streamers, or only 4 or 5, and that's the impression they're getting is there's only 5 streamers on the platform. Because that's all that's featured. Because obviously the feature is 6 plus the one at the top. And that one at the top is one of the 6 anyway. So there's only 6 people. So that's what people are seeing. I wonder if there's a better way we could manage that to better showcase that, hey, we are growing. There's now 15, 16, 25. I mean, I've seen 33 streams live just in gaming.
I mean, I saw 24 at one stage. And that was like the day before I saw that message to that tweet. Like, how? How's that possible? I think it's a 2-part process. It's making something obvious on the front page so people can actually see that there are more streams on there, and educating people that there's more to the platform than just the front page. And, if you want to be on the front page, you tick that little box.
Yeah, I know Mytho was saying we could send the user an email once they get to 10 hours. But
that'd be handy. It'd be like, congratulations, you've hit 10 hours. Would you like to be featured on the front page? If so, you can do this.
How hard would it be to put up in, say, the chat or something like that for the streamer?
Oh, like a
How hard would it
pop-up.
be for Glimish to say, "Hey, congratulations, you've made 10 hours on the platform," as a as a Glimish chat,
I mean,
say just a type message, congratulations, bang, it just pops up.
so what if there was a notifications system on the page, which eventually would be handy for people that actually go live. You're logged into the platform, you don't know that they've gone live, and you get a notification up in the top right. It's like, oh, hey, someone's live. But you could get a notification come up there, not necessarily like blasting you whilst you're streaming, just like
No, but
something. Yeah, something to say that you've got a notification. On that notification, it's like, yes, you've hit 10 hours streaming. You're now eligible to be featured on the front page. And then you click.
My point still remains the same. It doesn't matter how much you do. If we've got 10,000 streamers on the platform and only 6 on the front page, it's still going to, when people click there, it's still only going to show 6 people. That's going to give off the wrong impression.
Yeah.
We need something to highlight that and say, hey, no, we've got 35 people live right now.
So, all right. So here's a thought.
Window.
Here's a thought. What if, the whole categories made simpler part that's down the bottom of the page, what if that was above the 6 featured streamers and below the live feed? What if that was moved up with an active count?
Well, you change
because then it's there. Yeah, you're moving those buttons up above the 6 featured streams
that could
with a live count. That's something. It's there.
Potentially work. I just think it would showcase better. Like people could look and say, okay, there's 10 in gaming, there's 2 in art, there's 1 in music, there's 5 in tech. Oh, tech. What's tech? So click on the tech and there's 5 streams there. So they can literally see, today there's 45 total streams. Rather than just looking and seeing,
Yeah. Memory, feel free to do that. It's a walkthrough site tour. To new users that sign up, you have
there's even another thing. Even just X streams live, like on the top bar next to the app thing or whatever. 45 live streams.
Right up the top.
That could show a general run of the mill that, there's, and maybe that would start pulling people because people would see it from 3 months ago where there was only 4. They're seeing it today where there's 50. Oh, okay. So there is people. Okay, maybe I do need to get over there before it gets too big, and get my.
But you could do
that line.
You could do both. You could have the live stream count on each category and have a total number of streams up on the top bar. There's nothing stopping you from doing it. Essentially, you need to sort of figure out a formula that works and whatever's.
I just think that's what the common gripe seems to be is there's no one on the platform. I think that's where it's stemming from. Is they're just going to the landing page, and sometimes the landing page isn't going to show anything other than smash bets and the 24/7 radio.
Yeah, which people have had a gripe about as well. Why are 24/7 channels being featured on the front page? They have every right the same as everyone else.
Still a channel.
They do get cycled out. If there were enough streamers on the platform, they would get cycled out 100%. From the front page.
Yeah.
It's all fair game, but people don't see that. So
I love the landing page. Don't get me wrong, the landing page is fantastic, but I think as growth happens and as things start to expand, I think that's probably the big chunk of space that people are going to see when they first come over.
But you wouldn't be ranking them by number of streams. Memory, it's more just an indication of how many streams are live in that category.
Live,
yeah.
That's
all it would be.
Have 15.
So it's not
cycle in and out.
Yeah, it's more like an updated number that would appear on that category button. Not you want to be popular, you've got to be here, kind of thing. It's just more of an indication.
Minutes, it just runs through and goes, oh, there's now 22.
Yeah,
15 minutes.
It would be a lot easier. Say you wanted to know if there were any art streams streaming at the time. You don't have to go and click the art tab and go, oh, there's no one here. That there's no one there because it says zero luck
There's
or
zero,
something.
yeah. You're not having to click through to find something, yeah. Oh, that's just something that I correlated the other day because like I saw that tweet and I was like, hold on, there's more than two because I'm on here now, and I looked
Yeah.
and went, hang on, where are they getting the two from? And I looked and looked, and then I went to the landing page and I was like, oh, hold on, maybe that's where they're correlating the two people like on the platform
Yeah.
versus the 12 that are actually currently on the platform, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think that was the day there was like a few new faces as well. So they wouldn't have got that 10 hours yet, or they may not have had that turned on. So again,
Yeah.
it just
I mean, they
kind of,
probably don't even know, to be
well,
honest.
you know, maybe not, or maybe they do, but the sheer
But
fact
this
that
is,
it's a
you know,
landing thing, I think, is where that big issue
yeah.
is being caused
I
by, and
mean,
people are saying there's no one on it.
I think a simpler way would be some form of notification, whether that be via email or on platform, whatever. It'd be a lot easier to implement that than, say, a complete walkthrough of the entire um, platform. But I mean, ideas. That's what we're here for. You know, talk shit
No,
over
it's just
and
we're talking
try and
about,
nut
you know,
stuff
people
out.
moving to other platforms. Like
Yeah,
we're talking about the movements and stuff like that.
yeah,
But you know, if that's what they're judging it off, then you know that's a fair judgment because that's all they can see.
yeah,
Initially, that's all they can see because they don't want to delve deeper. And I guess in some ways, you've kind of got to dumb it down to make it look smart, if that makes sense. You know,
yeah,
like you've got to make it very, very simple so that people can actually evolve with it. You know,
yeah. You
once
have
they
to.
know where to look, it's a different story. And like we've been here
Yeah,
since day one, so we know click gaming and
I
have a
think,
look.
but it's the same with any product. You have to dumb
Oh,
it down.
absolutely, yeah. Here's the. I'll drop the building glimish link.
Yeah,
Um,
you absolutely have to dumb products down so that the majority of people. That's why when you buy an appliance and there's a little booklet on there that tells you not to open up the appliance when it's plugged into the wall, or you know you get that little uh, satchel in your shoes,
yeah,
you know,
it
to
says do
soak up
not
all the
eat.
moisture. Do not eat. Yeah, you've got to do that because people are fucking stupid, right? So
Oh, what's in my shoe? Is this
to,
gum?
yeah, so that looks tasty. um, you've got to dumb things down. You've got to simplify things to a ridiculous extent. And you know, I think we're at that point where we sort of need to do that on Glimmer. You know, we
Yeah,
need
I
to,
think
yes, on a general standpoint, things make sense to
yes, they
most
do.
people, but you need to simplify things. Like, yes, it may look simple, but you need to not look at it with your blinkers on and think, no, that's simple, it's fine, everything's great. No, you need to oversimplify things.
But I mean, it's the same for any, like, you know, look at Brime, look at SharePlays, look at all that. They've got to start looking to that sort of thing. Like, how do they make their site appeal? Like, how do they show that, you know, they do have growth? Like, they do have people. You know,
Yeah,
I think it's the same. I mean, it would have been the same with Beam when they started. They had to move Mixer,
yeah,
Justin TV, Twitch. They all done
yeah.
it. I
I mean,
think,
like,
you know, we're kind of at that point in the crossroads now
yeah,
where, you know, Glimish is getting this
yeah.
wrong idea from people that are tweeting saying there's only two people
Well,
live when there's actually not.
and
But
it's
it's
not
because they don't go in.
necessarily showing metrics like, oh, we have
No,
X amount of people on the platform. That does, people don't give a fuck about that. They
no.
you know, you've got to be able to show physically the streams that are streaming. You know,
Yeah.
you need to showcase that. You can't just show them a graph and be like, oh, but look, growth.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that doesn't mean anything really to the
Yeah.
general, like, brain dead streamer.
Yeah. You need to make it in a way where they come here, they go, ow, look at all these people. You know, I
Yeah,
thought
look
this
at
place
gaming.
was
It's like
dead.
bumping today. It's 45 people. Yeah, fuck yeah. Look at that.
Yeah.
You know, shit, I need to get in on this, you know, because they're going to see that, oh, shit, you know, it was only like 20 the other day. Now it's 45. Fuck, I've got to get in
Yeah.
here.
But like we've noticed, we spend, I mean, you especially, spend a lot of time floating around the platform, and
Yeah.
yeah, we see it every day. You know, we see the fluctuations of people streaming on the platform. Where you
Mhm.
will get that one day where there are only like maybe 3 streams live at a time. I've noticed that the lowest point now is around about 5 in the gaming
Yeah.
category, so we're getting somewhere. But
Yeah.
it's peaked like big time. Like we're seeing upwards of like 30 streams live just in the gaming category alone. You know, that's huge compared to what it used to be, where there were only like say 5 or 6 streams live on the platform at any given time. You know, there's been a huge influx of people, and we need to let people know
I
that
like that.
that's actually happening.
I like that tech. Yeah, exactly. That's the sort of thing we're talking about. Yeah. And that's not to say that, it's wrong that it's not there. It's just, obviously the development and as things get on. Yeah, it's a great, great idea. It just highlights, it just shows people that, hey, there is growth rather than looking and saying, hey, I'm not going to Glimish because there's no growth and just staying in that stagnant format.
Yeah.
Being able to showcase that, hey, there's a ton of growth right now. You guys need to get in on that. It
Mm.
would just be a general a general thing, because now they could start to see that, yeah, okay, there's some worth here.
Yeah. I actually like those pictures. I'm
And welcome, by the
not
way,
gonna
Tech.
lie.
Yeah, welcome. No, I mean
Um,
that's
Tech,
brilliant.
that is exactly what I had in mind. That is just so simple yet so informative
And I love
at
the
the same
yellow.
time.
The yellow just pops out, just stands out like,
Yeah,
hey,
not necessarily red. You do need that color that sort of pops off the background, you know, where people can easily read it. I do like that.
and that's all it is. It's just a QOL, but it's a QOL that would breed interest. It would make people curious, like, oh, okay, I'll check tomorrow. And they come back tomorrow and there's 22. Oh, okay. It was only 12 yesterday. Today's is okay. So Wednesdays is a big day. So if I come in on Tuesdays,
Mm.
I've got more chance, and it starts the
Mm.
process. It just starts the ball
Yeah.
rolling. It just gets everything running
But I
through.
think, right, that being moved further up the page above the featured streamers where it can easily be seen, you don't need to scroll
Yeah,
down to it. That's gonna put it right there so everyone can see it. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
having
Yeah,
it so close to the top of the page kind of makes the tabs up the top a little redundant, but that's on the front page. Beyond that,
yeah.
the tabs are important. Like, they actually
Oh,
make sense.
exactly right. Yeah.
But it's
Yep.
something that I think needs to be done to make it better.
I just think it would highlight the reflection of it.
I mean, I don't even look at the open data anymore, Saffrox. I mean, I used
Yeah,
to.
I haven't. I
It
haven't
was
either.
intriguing
Yeah.
for a little while, and now it's just like, well, I know we're kind of stable. You know, the platform's still running, and there's streamers here, so the data really kind of means nothing right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we
All
might
right.
have to wrap this up
I was just
before
saying,
my
yeah, we've gone a little
recording
bit
gets like,
overtime, but
yeah,
we went a little bit over. But hey, that's all right. No
yeah,
big deal. No
no,
big deal.
we don't
Anyway,
mind.
right. We'll wrap this one up. Next one, 2 weeks. If we've got
Yes.
anybody in the chat now, or potentially anybody who's listening or watching on YouTube who'd love to come and join us, please feel free. Hit up the Discord links that'll be in the YouTube video down below. Come and see us on Glimish, obviously, if you're over on YouTube. Guys on YouTube, on Glimish, if you haven't followed the YouTube channel, please head on over there, give us a sub, hit the notification. You'll see when they go live so you can catch up with the shows afterwards. If you want to be on the show, definitely hit us up. Come share your
Yes.
opinions. Come share your views.
Like,
Come speak
actually
about it.
be here
Join us
chatting with
on the
us.
show.
Yeah. Not just in chat, like actually chat with us and share your
Come
opinions.
join us in this room here.
Yes.
We've had Memory Leak
mystical
on,
space.
and we'll probably get Memory Leak back in at some point soon.
Yes.
For some updates if he's in a position to do so.
Yeah.
But we'll have some news throughout the next 2 weeks. So make sure you're watching the Twitter as well. And
Yes.
please join the Discord because you guys in the Discord will be the first.
We will be the first to know.
First to hear
Oh my god.
some new things coming. There's be some
It's been a
changes along the
long
way.
it's been a long time
But-
coming, but it's finally happening.
Something is in the works. So yeah, if you haven't joined the Discord, bounce on in there.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes on the Twitter. But that's been us for today. Thank you for everyone tuning in, and for the guys on YouTube. Thank you
Yes.
so much for watching again. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks. So
Well, indeed.
stay safe, stay out of trouble, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.